Welcome back to the CoolFigurez channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on the channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new mixed match Deathstroke. Stab of Hades figure. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. If you do enjoy this video or any other videos that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. With all of that out of the way, guys, once again, we are going to be taking a look at the brand new mixed match 1/12 Stab of Hades figures. Totally not Deathstroke, guys. So if you were thinking this was Deathstroke, you guys found the wrong video. Go ahead and exit out. This is not Deathstroke. You do not have to think or wonder. This is not Deathstroke, okay? So bye-bye. Okay, so all the lawyers for WB and DC are out, right? All the actual toy collectors are still here, right? Because obviously we know this is a Deathstroke figure, but it does come from a third-party company, so it is an unlicensed Deathstroke, which is how he comes with weapons and does not have to follow that WB bullshit mandate about no weapons with their figures. So that's how this figure got around all that. So super excited to have this figure in hand because I do not have the Mezco Deathstroke. So that figure alone is about $600 on the third party market. So being able to have a chance at a 1/12 collective Mezco style Deathstroke was definitely an amazing thing, and I was not going to pass it up this time. I have already messed around with it a bit while I was doing my toy photography for the review, and I have quite a bit to say, some good stuff and some bad stuff, but overall I do really enjoy this figure. It is an amazing looking figure. The articulation is a bit we'll get into definitely all that when we get into articulation. However, overall, like I said, this is an amazing figure, and I don't have the Mezco one, like I said, so I can't really compare the articulation from that one to this one and really be like, well, the articulation is better in the Mezco versus this one, so I can't really say if this is really good articulation for a Mezco style Deathstroke. But as you can see, he does pose up very well. You just have to get him into those poses and really balance him out, and also just play around with the figure itself, because underneath all that armor, he does have soft goods in terms of his pants. So sometimes that kind of hinders some of his movements. So be very aware of that. But yeah, guys, other than that, no real complaints. I mean, look at this guy. This guy looks phenomenal. And he is actually currently wearing the alternate third head that he does come with, that kind of was thrown in to really throw those DC Warner Brother lawyers off the trail and be like, well, he's not Deathstroke because he has his alternate third head with the half skull, half orange helmet, you know, but it's just about loopholes and getting around all that other bullshit. But as you can see here, it actually looks pretty fucking cool. In fact, I'm even debating if I should display him with this head sculpt opposed to the actual Deathstroke head sculpt, because this thing looks fucking badass in my opinion. It honestly looks really menacing, and it really does look like a variant Deathstroke helmet, so that's really cool. But you can really tell that it goes from like a full-on skull into the Deathstroke helmet, which is also really cool. So with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and take a look at everything that this guy comes with, because he does come jam-packed with quite a few accessories, including 2 extra alternate heads. So in package, he does come with quote-unquote old man mercenary head right there with the eye patch and the scar, and yeah, you know, it's Slade. It's Slade Wilson, guys. So, and next up we do get that Deathstroke helmet alternate head sculpt right here. As you can see, this is exactly what Deathstroke looks like, and this is exactly what most people bought the figure for. It does come with a little ribbon on the tail that comes off of it when it's in package, but this still looks good right there. So I mean, this is obviously, like I said, what we bought it for, the Deathstroke head, but I mean, that half skull, half orange, I mean, come on, how can you see? Look at that shit. I mean, they're both great, don't get me wrong. I'm going to utilize both of them, but in doing my toy photography reviews for this review, I actually found myself leaning more towards this head. It just looks that much more menacing. But obviously, if I'm going to put him up against a Batman, I'm going to put on the traditional Deathstroke head for that picture. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on with the stuff that he does come with. So that is it in terms of head sculpt. So why don't we go ahead and move on into alternate hands. He does come with a total of 6 alternate hands. In package, he does come with, of course, some fisted hands. And these are really nicely done in detail. Let my camera focus and you guys can see how nicely done they are. I love this orange paint, how it has like that metallic sheen to it. Ooh, so amazing. You do also get a pair of open action hands or relaxed hands, whatever you want to use them for. But once again, the painting and everything on these is amazing. There's a little bit of silver dry brushing on top of it. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, super cool. And next up, you do get a pair of C-grip hands. So like I said, in package he does come with the fisted hands, which means he does come with one more extra pair of hands, which he is currently utilizing, which is a C-grip hand, a smaller C-grip hand to hold the knife, and of course a right-handed trigger finger hand, which is one of those things we're gonna have to talk about. So let's go ahead and continue on with the accessories, because he's not holding all the weapons that he comes with, guys. He comes with a few other things. So you do get a pair of grenades right here. So here they are, nice and tiny, but you do get 2 of them. So that's good in case you lose one, but hopefully you don't. Put those away, in a nice safe place if you're not going to be utilizing them. You do get his staff that he utilizes in multiple variations of Deathstroke in battle and whatnot against Batman. And next up, you do get another weapon that I feel like they had to throw in at a scale just to also throw off the WB and Warner Brother lawyers once again, because this weapon is cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks really cool. The grip is just a little too big, and when the grip is too big, the whole gun just looks a little too big. So yeah, unfortunately, none of the magazines are removable from the guns, and none of the tips actually have any openings or holes for you to plug any kind of like bullet effects into them, unfortunately. So you're going to have to use ones that you have to just use sticky tack with. So moving on, you do also get a big sniper rifle right here, as you can see, and it is beautifully done in detail. So that's one thing I will say, for it being a third-party company, these weapons are amazing. They just look phenomenal. Unfortunately, once again, the magazine is not removable. It's just little things that we're spoiled with in terms of Mezco stuff. But yeah, why don't we go ahead and start pulling stuff off of the figure, because he is holding a few things. So why don't we go ahead and start off with what's on his back, which is of course his sword. Deathstroke. Oh shit, that was the sheath? Okay guys, so I do apologize. In my review pics, he's holding the sword with the sheath on it, because I thought it was just a large sword, but apparently it's just the sheath. So that's on me. So just be aware when you see the picture of him holding the sword with the sheath. I took these before I did my review. So yeah, it does slip into this nice little sword holding place right here. And then I guess it pulls out, which is really cool. I really didn't know that, guys. I'll be honest. I'm 100% honest. Like, I didn't realize that was the sheath. So super awkward when it comes to that one photo. So thankfully I only took one with that. So yeah, so it turns out that that's the sheath. So why don't we go ahead and pull the sword out and take a nice closer look at it. Let me go ahead and see if it'll stand right here. Like I said, he's a bit hard to stand, but when he stands, he stands. So the grip is very nicely done and detailed. It's nice and ridged, and there he goes. We'll go ahead and take a look at the box right now anyways. So yeah, really nice sword. Can't complain. It is a soft, pliable plastic, but it is still one of those that if it drops, it will snap. So be super careful with that, which is why I will be keeping it in its sheath. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on, but let's go ahead and turn him around. And his pouch on his left leg does seem to fall off quite a bit. The one on his right is attached to his belt right here, so it doesn't, but the one on his left, it's just constantly falling. I have to admit that, but it's a very minor thing. I'm still happy to have that pouch on there and have that detailing, rather than them saying, well, it's just going to keep falling, so let's not include it. Like, fuck it, I can fix it. It's not a big deal, to be completely honest, guys. Just having to fix it every now and then. But see, now you're seeing a little bit of what I was talking about in terms of having an issue with him standing and posing. But there we go. He's all stood up and posed up. So next up, why don't we go ahead and take a look at his sidearm, which I believe is a Desert Eagle. Don't quote me on that, but it does look like one. So yeah, very nicely done in my opinion. It's just one little, Desert Eagle pistol, but he does come with a holster right here on his hip. so that it slides right in and it holsters very nicely. So next up, let's go ahead and pull this little knife out of his hand. And as you can see, he has a little sheath right here for it. So you can just slide it in. He has it ready right there whenever he needs it. And so let's go ahead and stand him up on his own once again. Or, you know what, let's just lay him down. And let's go ahead and take a look at the blade. So it's a very small blade, as you can see, but it does have a nice blade and a nice ridging to the actual handle. So super cool in terms of that detailing. So yeah, the pouch does have the sheath right here, as well as, whoops, wrong way. Let me pull that out, flip it around. I don't know how I actually did it wrong twice, but I did. But let's go ahead and take a look at this pouch right here, which is nice. It'd be cool if it opened, but it is all solid plastic. It's not a soft good. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the final accessory that he does come with, which is probably my favorite, and it is this, I believe they're called Scorpion rifles, like, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, don't quote me, I'm not a gun expert. Once again, the magazine is not removable. It has a nice gold accent paints right there on the gun and on the scope, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, super cool. So talking about some of the pros and cons of this figure. Pros, it looks amazing, guys. This thing looks phenomenal. I could not be more happier with it. And like I said, I don't have the Mezco Deathstroke to compare it to, but I would say this is definitely comparable to that Deathstroke, if not better. So, by the way, I totally forgot to bring in my Mezco Batman to do a side-by-side comparison, but this is meant to be a Mezco style Deathstroke, so he should scale well with it. I will be doing some toy photography with a Mezco Batman and this mixed match Stab of Hades figure soon, so stay tuned for that, so that way you guys can see size comparisons, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same size and in scale. So with that being said, the other con about this figure is his trigger finger hand. So it is just an awkward trigger finger hand if you can't see. It's not really a dedicated trigger finger hand. The one good thing that it does have going for it, though, is that it is very pliable and it is a very soft plastic, because the way you're going to have to get the gun in the hand is you're first going to have to put the finger in the trigger hole, then you're going to have to come around through the thumb, and then you're going to have to, whoops, see, it's a bit of a tricky thing to do, but then you're going to have to come and try to get those other three fingers around the base of the grip. And as you can see, the grip of the gun isn't quite long enough. So the thing I'm finding with the weapons that come with this figure is they're slightly out of scale. I do have a Mezco one of these Scorpion rifles, and I feel like if I give it to him, it will look a lot better. But I feel like these guns are just slightly out of scale with this figure in particular. I feel like they may work better with 7-inch figures, but for 6-inch figures, yeah, it's slightly out of scale in my opinion, especially when you try to hold it up to his eye so that way he can look through the scope. It doesn't really line up with his head, like the scope. It's kind of odd. Let me see if I can show you guys. Let me put the gun back in his hand, and that's the other thing, it kind of just always pops out, so kind of have to finesse some stuff. So let's see, let's raise the arm joint, rotate it this way. Okay, now of course it looks right. So, okay, maybe I was just posing on poorly earlier. So now it lines up with this eye. However, maybe earlier it was just the Deathstroke head wasn't really working with it. So yeah, now it lines up with the eye. So I guess that's just on me. But the grip still is a bit small, if you guys can't tell, because the fingers barely kind of wrap. And when I say a bit small, I literally mean like maybe a half a centimeter. It's just that little bit to get that last finger on there and secure it, because other than that, yeah, it's pretty secure. So yeah, that's it in terms of accessories. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and take a nice closer look at this guy, because man, is he a fucking beautiful figure. I mean, look at him. So the shoulder pads are attached by these elastic bands, so that way you get a little bit more free range of motion with his arms. However, as you can see throughout this video, they are moving constantly around, and you're going to have to be messing with them constantly as well. Once again, this pouch thing does slide off constantly, not being attached to the belt. I really wish they would have just attached both to the belt, but it is what it is. Or maybe just put a peg on the inside and then a peg hole on in, but it is what it is. So taking a look at some of the pieces on this guy, some of them are hard plastic while others are a fabric. So right here on his sides, he does have an under shirt that is soft goods, as well as pants. So underneath the hard armored plastic pieces, he does have soft goods. However, since he is an armored character, he does have this harder plastic up top and everything to resemble those hard metal plates, you know, from his armor and stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and just keep looking at this guy because there is so much detailing and stuff. And I mean, this head alone is just fucking amazing. I mean, look at the coloring and everything, and even the eye on this one, just super amazing. I really wish they would have included a shotgun with this guy, considering he has a shoulder full of shotgun shells right here. But yeah, no shotgun with this guy. I do have a Mezco shotgun, so I'm sure I can add it to this guy's armory, and it'll look amazing. But yeah, other than that, I absolutely love the paint job on this. It definitely just screams Deathstroke. And yeah, like I said, just a great looking figure. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and move on into the most important part, and that is articulation. And this guy does have some decent articulation. It's really the soft goods that hinders him. So it's not the buck so much as it is the soft goods underneath. They just aren't tailored as well as Mezco's, with it being a third-party figure. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on into articulation. So he will look all the way to the right, all the way to the left. He will not look down at all, really. Well, I guess he looks down a bit. Nothing too crazy, though. He'll look up pretty significantly, though. That's really good. I mean, look at that. He can basically look straight up, and then his head pops off. So one thing I will say about this figure, guys, and don't be alarmed, when you pop his head off, the dumbbell joint will pop off with it. So as you can see, it's right there in the head. Thankfully, it's not in there too tight. You can probably finesse it by squeezing your fingers in and popping it out. So yeah, just be aware that every time you pop this guy's head off, that dumbbell joint will pop off with the head. Just at least with mine it has. Maybe if you heat it up it won't, but it's not too much of an issue to deal with and to take out and put back. So yeah, just be aware of that. So he does have some really generous head tilt right there, as you can see, so much so that it pops his head off. His arms will go out to a T-pose right there because the armor plates will go over the shoulder right there. No butterfly joint. Can't go 360 with his arms because of the soft goods underneath, but they will go up that far. They will go back that far, so pretty much all the way. He does come with double hinge elbows, which is amazing. Let me see. He does have bicep swivel as well. Taking a look at his wrist articulation, it will rotate 360, and it is much like a Mezco wrist peg, where it will go up and down, in and out, whichever way that ball joint is facing. Taking a look at his midsection, he will rotate at the lower abdomen right there, and he will not crunch down at all because of this plastic armor plating right there. So he won't crunch back either because he has the same thing on the back. Taking a look at his leg articulation, this is where he's going to be a lot more hindered as well, because his pants, like I said, they aren't Mezco pants, so they aren't stretchy, they aren't tailored too well, so he can only kick out literally this far. That's it. I'm pushing and I'm afraid because I feel like that seam's going to rip right there. But yeah, that's as far as he will kick out. He will kick forward, let's see, not that much either, so barely forward. Won't kick back at all. He does come with double hinge knees, but the pants really hinder his movement and articulation, so it only goes to 90 degrees. No swivel at the knee. However, you do get an upper boot cut, which is amazing because that always comes in handy when you have these high, tall boots. You do have a generous ankle ball joint right there. In terms of up and down, not too much movement because of the armor plating. So yeah, guys, all in all, an amazing Stab of Hades figure. Definitely not a Deathstroke, like I said, guys. So if you were looking for a Deathstroke figure, this is not it. This is a Stab of Hades figure. Do not get it mixed up. What the fuck? Okay, get this Deathstroke figure, guys. If you are looking for a 112 collective style Deathstroke figure and you missed out on the Mezco one, this is definitely the one. I saved him. So, yeah, once again, his posing is a bit However, he does come with some peg holes on the bottom, so if you want to peg him into a stand, you can do that. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I have nothing else to say about this figure. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this figure? Did you pre-order it? Are you going to be pre-ordering it now that you've seen this review? Let me know down in the comments. Do you have the Mezco Deathstroke? Is this one better? Is that one better? I would love to know. So with all that being said, guys, join me every Sunday morning for Coffee and Toys, a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, and so much more. And join me every Wednesday on Instagram at CoolFigurez for Coffee and Toys Live, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy collecting, toy hunting, toy photography, and so much more. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at some really cool pics that I took of this guy. And if you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a great fucking day. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at CoolFigurez. And I do have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. Check it out if you like what you see. Leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys want to see the unboxing of any figures I do reviews on for this channel, go ahead and check me out over on TikTok at CoolFigurez. That's where I post all my unboxings. And join me every Sunday morning for Coffee and Toys, a weekly toy news, toy talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, and so much more. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. But whether or not you're a subscriber, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm your host, Jess the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you so much to this channel sponsor, CoolFigurez Store. Check them out for all your Funko Pop, anime, Pokemon card, and toy print needs. And of course, use code CoolFigurez at checkout for 10% off your order. CoolFigurez Store. Check them out, guys.